Yeah, so that reminds all those changes. All the different. We're only missing one of the members, there's only one person. Maybe he needs to find out set, find out on this. Think about it. I do the second. I'll do it again. You know what I mean? And then 6%. Hold on. Let me know. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape Star and Wave and the Atlantic City Press, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notice under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of municipal clerk. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance to the flag. Roll call.
Jim Barnes. George Dick.
Here.
John Frisco.
Here.
Allison Morgan. Here. Paul Mulligan is absent. Kevin O'Neill. Tom Richards.
Here.
Lisa Rosselli. Here. Carol Sabo.
Here.
Ryan Griffin is absent. Carol Rice-Lynn. Here.
Okay, our first item of business is the August 19th, 2025 work session minutes. Everyone had a chance to look at those. A motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Barnes.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Frisco.
Yes.
Morgan. Yeah. O'Neill. Richards.
Abstain.
Sabo.
Yes.
Ray Flynn. Yes. Rosselli.
Yes. Our next item is the September 2nd, 2025 meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Barnes.
Yes.
Dick.
Yes.
Frisco.
Yes.
Morgan. Yeah. O'Neill.
Yes.
Richards.
Yes.
Sabo.
Abstain.
Ray Flynn. Yes. Rosselli.
Yes. Okay, we have an addition to our original agenda. This is resolution number 06-25A, and I would like Rich to explain why we have this addition.
Sure. So, in March, we did hear an application for 601 Boulevard. In the original resolution that was adopted in May, the table on page 2 for the accessory uses, for the height, there was an error. It should have been adjusted to 15 foot for the garage, which was agreed upon, and is on record for that meeting. So this new amended application, or resolution, sorry, indicates that the height of the garage is at 15 foot.
Normally I wouldn't. Resolution, I wasn't here for that meeting, I prepared that resolution, but the applicant agreed with the engineer that that was what it should have been, and they were building in accordance with it. But I figured I just as well not have a resolution laying around that had something that was wrong in it. So we're just doing what everybody knew should have been done. I don't want you to think that we could just take a resolution later without notice to anybody and just change it. Normally can't do that, but since everyone agrees, I just didn't want to lay it around in the record. Someone looks at 20 years from now and sees that old number and everybody who agreed to it isn't around anymore. So this is what happened in their being right. So.
Okay, thank you. Our first application is,
We vote on that one?
Resolution numbers 06-25N.
and I'll second.
Barnes,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Fusco,
Yeah.
Morgan. O'Neill, Richards,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Ray Flynn, Roselli,
Yes. Okay, our first application tonight is Cape Hope Investments to LLC 405 Fourth Avenue. The applicant, please come forward.
Evening, Madam Chair, board members. John Enghauser, the Deweese Law Firm. We are speaking on behalf of the applicant, Cape Investments 2 LLC. Subject property, this application is 405 Fourth Avenue. It's identified on the borough's tax map as block 47, lot 9. It's in the R2 zoning district. Right now, this property is situated as a vacant 20,000 square foot lot. And through this application, the applicant is seeking to develop the property with a 4-unit residential building with each dwelling containing 3 bedrooms. It is a permitted use in the zone where multiple dwelling units containing 3 or 4 dwelling units in 1 or more structures are permitted. Here with me to discuss the plan submitted, the site plan, have Matthew Sprague, and that's a registered architect in the state of New Jersey. I believe Matt's been before this board was passed, but happy to elicit credentials from him before he starts this evening, Madam Chair. I also have Mr. Andy Schaefer. Andy's a professional engineer, professional planner, who I believe is also with this board in the past, but we'll elicit credentials if need be from him as well. So,
Sure, go ahead and we'll list them and
sure.
thank you.
Yeah, elicit your credentials, please.
Licensed to practice architecture in the state of New Jersey since 2006. Most of my work is.
can you just swap the microphone a little bit closer, please? Thank you.
Most of my work is focused in the lower Cape County area. I've done
Thank you.
Yeah, it's Andy Schaefer with the firm Schaefer and Associated Consultant Engineers, one of the principals. I've been licensed as an engineer and planner in the state since 1987. I think that's 30 years. I have been before this board, but it's been since 90 or 91.
There you go.
It's been a little bit.
No.
Yeah, that's been well. That was a town. I've seen almost every other municipality in Cape May.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I also had I don't intend to elicit testimony from him, but one of the applicant members, Marcelo Novero, is in the first row. He's here should any questions arise that we need his assistance on, but otherwise don't intend to elicit testimony from him. I'm not sure if you need him sworn to this point.
Swearing in, but thoughts of
So we'll swear with that.
Gentlemen, and also the board engineer should raise his hand, he's going to provide testimony as well. Let's see. Yeah.
Just read
Raise
it.
your right hand. So, you swear or affirm to tell the truth, also nothing but the truth, so, yeah. I do.
So Matt, we'll start with you if we can. Can you confirm for the benefit of the board, what we're proposing is a 4-unit development within a single building?
That's correct. There's 4 total units. They're connected on the second. You need somebody to put up the back.
We're gonna get you in now.
If it's charged.
Yes, there's 4 total units, they're each 3 bedrooms, and they are connected on the second. 2 buildings are primarily 2 buildings, but they're connected on the second floor. 4 units.
And you confirm each of the units are 3 bedrooms, right?
That's correct.
And can you just, and I know it's in front of them, can you kind of go over the floor plans for each of the units that are proposed?
How it works on the first floor, there's, covered porches on both the first and second floor level. There's also, an attached one-car garage. On the first floor, it's primarily a living space between the kitchen, living room, dining room, and there are uncovered decks in the back. On the second floor, there's total of 3 bedrooms that have connected second floor with walk-in closets. So underneath on the first floor, it's completely unrestricted. You can walk, the second floor, and as I said, it's done with the walk-in closets that are going to be for the master bedrooms.
So Matt, when reviewing the board engineer's review letter, one thing I wanted to go over with you, there was a question related to gross floor area calculations.
Yes.
Can you go over that for the benefit of the board? Whether or not complying with requirements?
There was a small math error with the gross floor area that was on the drawings. On the drawings, it indicates 6,670 square feet. It's actually 6,677 square feet. There's only a difference by 7 square feet. The permitted gross floor area is 6,750 square feet. So the proposal is less than what is permitted in total gross floor area.
Can you go over the floor area square footage calculation for each of the individual units as well?
Yeah.
So they comply?
Now, what I'm gonna call the interior units, where they're connected on the second floor with the walk-in closets. Those units are each 1,680 square feet apiece, which is the maximum permitted gross floor. The end units, they're a little bit less, they're approximately 1,650, which is again below the permitted gross floor.
And Matt, anything else you want to add related to the architectural plan before we turn it over to Mr. Jacobs?
I think with the design of it and trying to first looking at an appropriate solution that that was permitted within the ordinance. So with the size of the lot and a 4-family, it's fully conforming in terms of what the ordinance permit. So one of the things that I think that differentiates this concept is the use of the open space in between the buildings. What that does is it gives the appearance that where there's 4 residences total. But it actually has the appearance of what I would think is as being more two families. Now, again, like I said, the connection between the buildings is just on the second floor. I think it's important in promoting light, air, and open space is because that center portion and keeping the space open between the buildings, I think it helps in reducing the mass of the house. And I think it's better in terms of circulation on the bottom by having access completely vacant. Now, but it also, as a 4th family, it also has a distinct advantage over 2-family. The lot, when I have looked at it, the lot would actually be conforming in terms of lot area for 2-family residences, where 10,000 square feet is required. And this lot was approximately 20,400 square feet. But with a 2-family, it would have created a nonconformity on one of the lots, but only in terms of lot depth. With A two-family, though, you're permitted 2,250 square feet of gross floor area and 9,000 square feet total. So I think another one of the advantages with this is that it has the look of two-family residences, but it's much less, and it does not have the density that would be provided. It's because it's, as a four-family, it's much further restricted in terms of gross floor area. So it's basically, it looks like two families, but they're smaller size houses.
Less full, less scale, right?
Yeah. And I think with the look of the house, they're meant to be more traditional. I think they would fit in very perfectly with the neighborhood, with the use of gable roofs on the front. Differences in materials between horizontal siding and cedar impression style siding. You might also note the residents themselves are each staggered, so you don't have like one continuous flat wall. They're each offset by a couple of feet, so I think it helps to provide a little bit more variation on in particular, in the front of the house.
Thanks. Madam Chair, would you like to question each of the witnesses at the conclusion, or just wait till we're done completely?
Mr. Scribe, you may have said this, but what is it that actually connects the building? What's in that space that connects that?
It's a walk-in closet that serves sort of a master bedroom in the second floor.
For the interior fields.
Yes, so it's just walking.
Okay. All right. So Andy, I know you didn't prepare the site plan.
That is
that was
correct.
submitted here, right? Did you have a chance to review Mr. Earl's plan before you appeared this evening?
Yes, I did have a extensive conversation with him about the aspects, even if it is not.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Andy, would you agree that based on review of the plan and your understanding of the land development ordinance here, no variance relief required under this proposed site plan?
No, there's no variance relief required for any of the bulk requirements. And in fact, it's interesting that we are greater than the minimum lot coverage or lot area. And in that process, with the almost maximum size units, we are still substantially under the maximum building coverage allowed on the site. The FAR, same thing, we're substantially less. The height is substantially less. We're not overdeveloping the lot, is what I'm trying to make a statement there and doing, because lot coverage, height, FAR, and maximum lot and total lot coverage is a good test of whether the site's being overutilized. And in my opinion, it's not.
Now, we're not asking for any waivers either, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Now, a couple of questions that were raised in the engineer's review letter. If we could just reference those real quick. First one, question was asked if we could provide testimony that we were going to meet the required minimum vegetative coverage requirements. Can you confirm that we're doing that?
Yes, we are going to meet the minimum vegetative requirements as well as highlighting what is actually there and can be there as existing proposed conditions.
Can you also indicate that we're compliant with the lighting standards set forth in the borough's municipal code?
In my opinion, yes,
Minimal lighting proposed to that project.
that's correct.
Andy, just quickly, in terms of, we submitted a grading and drainage plan. Can you go over the proposed the drainage that how we're proposed to drain?
So there is a swale in the rear of the property that the site is graded to. And it's also not garnered comments
Right.
from the review here, so I believe we have complied with the intent and purpose of the ordinance in terms of grading stormwater management.
Talk for a minute too, Andy. And we're proposing two separate driveways onto Fourth Avenue through this.
That's correct, yes,
And each of those will service two of the units.
that's correct.
Now, can you confirm Fourth Avenue that we're going to be fronting these out? That's a county roadway.
That is a county road, yes.
So would you agree that any plans will have to go through county review process and adhere to county site plan resolution requirements?
That is correct.
Now, when it comes to driveways, there's a specific chapter in the county site plan resolution that's applicable, so chapter 6, section 3. That indicates, if you review it, there's a maximum number of driveways permitted for any property between 100 and 200 feet. And that would be 2 driveways. Is that
That is
accurate?
correct.
So we adhere to that requirement, right? Okay. In addition to that, can you talk about the site triangles that are proposed?
Certainly, so site triangles on County Road are what's called the ASHTO version, NJDOT version of site triangles. And almost the entire site triangle for these two driveways falls within the county right of way and doesn't impinge upon the property except for a very small amount near the middle of the house. So we will still be providing a site easement in that area, but it is minimal in size because most of it lands in the right of way of the county road because of the width of the county road. If it was narrower, that would be a different situation. But we are not in a situation where we're having to grant right of way. So it does mostly fall within county right of way, and that makes it out of our jurisdiction to control.
Now, the site plan resolution, it also indicates for two or more driveways connect a single site to any one county road, you have to have a minimum clear distance of 25 feet separating the two closest edges of that. Can you confirm we do that?
And we do see.
Johnson, I'm having a hard time keeping up. I'm sorry.
That's
Sorry. Need to slow down.
Sure.
Thanks.
So to boil it down, can you confirm that we meet the requirements to have 25 feet between the two closest edges of those proposed driveways?
Yes, we do.
So we meet all of the county site plan resolution requirements for driveways. Would you agree with that?
We do, yes.
Okay. And do you believe that what's proposed is a safe use of driveway ingress and egress?
Yes, so defined by site triangle easements and site views and so forth. Yes, we do comply with the requirements of the Canadian County engineering.
Okay.
But you haven't been to the county yet.
No, as a condition of approval, we'll absolutely have to go there, but we have not been there. No. So Andy, that touches on the comments in the review letter. One other review letter that we received was related to the Shade Tree Commission here in the borough.
Yes.
And I know that we discussed that with the applicant before we got up here tonight. There were some recommendations contained therein. Can you agree that we'd be fine with adhering to the requirements and recommendations of that letter as a condition of use?
Yes, we do.
Anything else? I'm sorry?
What was the date of that letter?
That letter is dated October 1st. And it's actually, it's not dated, it's indicated that the property was viewed on the 1st of October. So I'm assuming this came out on that date or just thereafter. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's,
Okay. That's all we have at this time. Any questions? Yes.
We'd like to have our engineers report.
Sure.
What's that one?
Right, has reviewed this preliminary and final site plan that was submitted for approval by Cape Home Investments, 405 Fourth Avenue, Lot 47, Lot 9. Project site is a 20,000 square foot lot located along the north side of Fourth Avenue, which is also known as County Route 635. To the west of the Columbia Avenue intersection, the subject property is currently undeveloped with low brush coverage and trees, and I think that's also mentioned in the Shade Tree Commission assessment report. The applicant intends to develop the currently existing lot with a 4-unit residential development consisting of 3 bedrooms each. Condominium association will be formed to facilitate the maintenance of common elements, including landscaping, the driveways, and the stormwater facilities. Multiple dwellings having 3 or 4 dwelling units, multiple buildings having 3 or 4 dwelling units and 1 or more structures are permitted use in the R2 zone where this lot is located. The site is located in R2 zone. So lot area that's required for a development property is a minimum of 15,000 square feet, and this property meets it at 20,000 square feet. The lot frontage required for this property would be 125 feet, and 152 feet is proposed, so it meets the requirements for that. The lot width is also 125 feet and 152 feet, so it conforms with that. The front yard setback for this property would be 20 feet, and that's what's also proposed. Each side yard setback would be a minimum of 6 feet. The west side, as proposed, is 16.87 feet, and the side towards lot number 10 is 9 feet, so it meets the requirements for that.
And just real quick, so
with this 4 unit, the side yard is considered the outer part.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's not, if you can see on the plan, it's not exactly centered on the property. One side's has a little more setback than the other.
Okay, so that's the 9 feet and 16.87.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And then the total side yard setback required will be 16 feet. And this, as proposed, they have 25.87 feet, so it conforms with that requirement as well. The minimum rear yard setback would be 20 feet, and the applicant is proposing 33.26 feet, and that complies as well. The lot depth, minimum requirement is 120 feet, and as proposed, the lot depth is 125.37 feet. The maximum lot coverage for the principal building and accessories is 40%. And as proposed, with the two connected buildings, it's 30.7 feet. The maximum gross floor area would be 1,688 square feet per unit as a maximum, and 6,750 square feet per structure. As proposed, it's 1,669.25 square feet per unit, approximately, and 6,677 square feet per structure. Both of those conform with the requirements in the code. The maximum floor area ratio for the dwelling unit would be 45% according to the code, and they're proposing 33.39%, which also is conforming. The building height, maximum 35 feet is the requirement, and as proposed, it's 30.5 feet. So that requires also. The vegetative cover requirement was not addressed in the plans. However, we did hear qualitative testimony that the vegetative cover requirement would be met. And also, we have the report from the shade tree assessment and what their suggestions or recommendations are. Parking. So for a 3-bedroom unit, 2.1 spaces are required. Times 4 units would be 8.4 spaces, rounded to 8 spaces, and 8 spaces are provided according to the plans, so that conforms as well. As the applicant mentioned, there were some issues that we answered for testimony during the review process, and one of them was proposed vegetative coverage, which the applicant answered with his response that they would meet the minimum required percentage.
But we don't have a vegetative plan as of now.
Correct. That information is not included in the search. Information shown on the architectural plan with regards to the gross floor area. There was an issue that was addressed with testimony regarding the area of the stairwell and the area that was computed for each of the units, and that has been addressed.
Which part of that was changed? It's somewhere in the what part of the part was changed? I know you talked about your opening.
There was an error on
Wait. All right. So I got it wrong. Let me see. Just tell me where in the chart that was the change, just so I can note it on the next. Right down the first one.
Was on drawing A1.1.
Oh, okay.
There was just an error between the addition of the first and second floor.
Well, what we're asking is,
Okay.
the chart will end up in your resolution, so we gotta fix it. So the chart says 1669.25, but I think you said it's 7 different than that. Or something.
It was actually just 677.
So what's the right number?
I calculated 6,677 square.
Oh, that's what's in.
But that's what's in our chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe our original plan had 7 feet less than that.
Which is, yeah, that's possible.
Sorry.
So
So
our
if
chart.
you succeed, the resolution is gonna have what's in this chart that we're looking at.
So
Well, good.
I have a question, just about, on your report, item 3. Does that pertain what our engineer here is saying about the calculations, the number here?
Yes.
That's where they,
Just two. Correct.
so
Yes,
that's where that
That's-
mistake was.
that's correct. Yeah, it's just like you said, it's just an error. It's on to that. The total and individual, first floor acre. Still.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is something that.
We're still on our.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Uh, the, um, the applicant provided testimony about whether the Cape May Tree Commission has reviewed the site plan, and they have, and they made some recommendations. Also, the applicant provided testimony on whether Cape May County has reviewed the proposed site plan for the access, vehicle access from the county limit, and they have not reviewed that at this time. However, we did hear testimony regarding the design of the two driveways, which are related. The applicant shall provide testimony on whether any of the proposed units shall be affordable housing.
They're not proposed, such they're not required under Borough Code 2B.
Thank you. And then the lighting standards, you provided testimony on the lighting standards indicating that it will be in compliance with the state. So there's a findings of the report. Additionally, the applicant provided some extra testimony specifically about the county requirements for the county.
So the parking is just pulling, side by side, there's no stack or anything, just for people that can't see the parts.
There will be stacking for two cars for each unit, but those will be of the same residential units that have their car stacked.
So while we're talking about that, you're talking stacking. I'm looking at my chart right, which is that one. You're stacking car, one parking spot is counted is a garage and one is counted in the apron, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so you're not stacking, you have a car
Well,
garage front.
With the garage, they're still stacked.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the garages. What's the length of the apron, I think the garage? The garages are.
I'm sorry.
Just look.
Clear space in the garage is over 13.5 feet. And the depth in front of the stair is approximately 21 feet. So it's a little bit larger than,
So
space
you fit
required.
your car and you can't fit in your truck. Don't ever just, or your truck, you can't fit my truck.
I mean, a very large SUV, but, but again, that's just for to have the steps into the garage. And it does exceed the minimum space depth.
So your calculation, you need to have 8 spaces, or 4 in the garages and 4 on the apron. My second question has to do with parking also and safety. You made the statement that there are 2 driveways. I believe that you could argue there are 4 driveways, just 2 openings, because garage, stacked cars, that's 2 driveways. Garage, stacked cars. So it's not 2 driveways, it's 4 driveways if you can feel.
I would agree. Two driveways to touch each other make one. So we have either 2 large driveways or 4 smaller ones, but the 4 smaller ones, 2 of them are literally touching each other.
Right, at any one time, 4 cars could be on 4 driveways now. Like, just play with me here a minute. I think that there's a lot of people here that look, that live in that area, they can't see that picture. Can you turn that to the audience, I want to reference that, briefly. that is on a curve. I have it here in front of me also. When you go around the curve and you try to back out, if cars are coming down the one side, if I'm driving by the pickup truck and I'm in the driveway and I'm backing out, I'm not going to be able to back out and get flooded lane. I'm going to have to go across 2 lanes of traffic with that curve. So I would argue very, very much that that is a large safety issue. I look at some of the county things that you have not gone to. I'm going to read this so I can listen. All new subdivisions and site plans must include off-street parking areas designed so that vehicles can turn around on site, eliminating the need to back out directly onto a county road. That is what they're referring to here, because of safety issues. And they're referring to a site that perhaps could be straight. You are on this property, so curve. So I would say that the safety in this instance for the residents, people driving by, and actually the people pulling out of the driveway is going to be compromised without its permanent. Second thing about that. Yes.
Okay, that's exactly what the county planning board's gonna have to weigh in.
Right, so
If I can interrupt, the county planning board is gonna have each driveway have a section perpendicular to that, so the car can pull in there and do a K-turn to get out. That's their typical, standard operating procedure for a residential driveway onto a county road.
okay, so how do you just thinking out loud here. There's 2 cars parked side by side. How do I make a K-turn?
So they would have, each driveway would have one off to the side.
But that's not shown on me, that's why.
You're right, you're correct, and they'll show up once we apply to the county.
So let's take this,
Well, but that's, well, that's problematic, that it gets locked.
And vegetation.
Right, and we are pretty far under on lot coverage.
You know, it'd be helpful if the plan where it has the thing to anticipate the times.
So when the county requires something different than that's in this plan, they're gonna have to come back here for a revised site plan to be correct.
So I think what would happen if we're not gonna, we would just be at 8 for each side, right?
Yes, I would see that, a 200-foot driveway extension on each driveway, which times 4 is 800 square feet. Which is still less, what you're going to be significantly less than the first.
And if we had, we wouldn't require, in your opinion, as you look at it now, any variance.
No, and it would be a condition of approval, we completely comply with the county. As such that the cars would be able to turn around before exiting the site, not backing out on the county road.
Well, and again, then we're talking about a whole different site plan, whole different lot coverage, whole different impact on the shade tree assessment. And, you know, it's entire, you know, you already planned for that eventuality, but didn't put it in the plan.
Well, I don't know that we'd be dealing with a whole different site plan if we're.
Lot coverage.
Well, lot coverage, we're indicating we're gonna adhere to the requirements, so whether it's at this point, we've applied for preliminary. But shade tree, we're also gonna do, a recommendation is to perform a complete tree inventory evaluation, so even if that were to change, we have to re-inventory everything and adhere to the requirements anyway,
Yeah, but
so. That's what we-
One of our numbers expresses concern that seems to be crossing which I heard is concerned about egress, which is one of the few things you can actually be concerned about if you buy our site plan. So, you know, if there's a ready solution, then that's fine, but I think the board should have preliminary. Find out what your final plan is gonna be, then you can get final site plan approval, and that may alleviate the concern of a member who probably maybe inclined to like, no, if you're doing a final approval with this, without this backup parking, with the backup parking and not some other measure addressing.
So the only thing I think I need just briefly, we're a contract purchaser of the lot. So from a timing perspective, I just want to make sure from the applicant doing preliminary without final would be something that would negatively impact. I think that's just the question addressed with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to jam anybody up. You're
No, I
gonna,
understand.
you're gonna have to go to the county anyway, so something's gonna, you know.
Right. So do you mind if I
Oh,
take
yeah,
a minute to do that?
absolutely.
30 seconds.
You have a full minute.
George, turn your microphone on.
Well, hold on. Yeah, it's careful to your microphone off the end. You guys can have you guys have a conversation about the application. I'm just saying.
I was gonna ask if we would extend here.
So you can do that where it's, you do it into your.
Most people. I was just asking. That was okay. That's right. That's what it is.
Yes. So I discussed it with them. I mean, we're inclined, we can set the preliminary approval with the understanding and condition that we apply to the county with the revision that we discussed with, that Mr. Schaefer indicated. Come back here for final approval of that shown on the plans. You can do that.
Okay, and if for some reason the county doesn't approve that solution, then
Yeah.
our members concerned can kind of
Then
continue. What happens from that, I don't know, but I'm just.
we're gonna have to do what the county's gonna require us to get their approval and then come back here for final with whatever that approval looks like. To present to you.
I guess I'm more, trained to think it's a disaster.
Well, I mean,
If they approve it without the turnaround, then you're gonna have to have a conversation.
oh, yeah,
They
we
want-
understand your concerns.
When you go to the county, is that a public hearing or is that just not?
Yeah, so when we applied, yeah, we'll be.
So you'll go to the planning board.
If they require us, to, we'll apply. If they're going to require us to show up for a hearing, which is they can, we
I
could.
guess they're gonna apply the turnaround.
Yeah, if they
I guess
review
they're
it,
gonna apply the turnaround.
right. So if it complies with everything, I don't think they're going to make to show up for the full board. I mean, they conduct the review regardless, right? So it's,
I'm not nearly an expert on that. I've never been there.
yeah, it's
Follow
it's
some public
interesting.
hearings on every application.
I don't believe they do. I don't believe that. If again, she's been doing this 38 years, she's never appeared.
I've never appeared before the Cape May County Planning Board.
Yeah, that's what, I've never been there either. You make me feel better. I know I've done stuff with county approvals, but I never had to actually go there. It seems
But
like.
we do have our first one coming up.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Questions, just questions.
Yeah, question, just
Move the microphone a little bit closer.
how wide is the opening for that garage? Is it 9 feet or 13?
The garage door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's 10 feet. Or 10 feet, yes. Okay, because it on the plan, it shows 9 foot wide space for each individual field. So then it opens up, it's a little bit wider as you enter the garage. I'm just, 9 feet seems awful narrow, that's,
Well, the garage door would be technically, which is actually pretty decent size, considering the spaces. So it will be a little bit larger size of the garage, I think.
What's the surface, what's in between when the parking space or driveway becomes divided? What's sitting in between the two of them? Is it open space? What is that?
There's grass and landscaping between the two driveways. But when you consider that each driveway has two tenants that use it, there's nothing between those two.
Show me on the draw line where we are proposing that if the K turn is gonna happen. Let's just pretend there are two cars in each driveway, so that means there has to be an apron on both sides of the driveway, is that what you're just?
Right, so if it was my application, which I didn't really spend in your county, I would place one here and one here.
On both lots, right?
So you can back into that and come on, is it convenient? No, but that's the solution the county has found whenever we have driveways fronting our county road.
Is there room for that on the
Yes, there is room.
easternmost?
There is.
There is. And those turnarounds, do they have to be the width of the driveway?
Typically, I make them 10 by 20, which is larger than the parking space.
So you fit under 20 feet east from that
That's correct, yes,
perpendicular
yes.
to the.
It may have,
There's a room.
it may have to meet the building to do that.
I can see how you do it on the one on the left, right?
Yeah, those are easy.
Right.
The one on the right is a little
It's
bit,
just a tricky little thing.
it'll probably need to move closer to the house itself, which makes it a little less easy to use.
And those driveways are clamshell? Is that correct?
So stuff.
So would that be stone also?
Yes,
We could mirror.
Just have a quick question. I couldn't see it anywhere. The interior square feet for each of the homes, what is it?
The interior square footage of each unit. Right.
16 something.
No,
Including the garage is a little bit more. I would estimate, about approximately 1,850.
Okay.
With the garage.
Yes.
Thank you.
Garage is parking fine. How is that? Then with your, I'm with it, stuff.
What is it about the garage? Square footage is without the garage.
The two interior units are 1,688 square feet each.
All four, or are they
No,
exterior?
the outer units are 1,650 square feet. So they're a little bit less, the outer units are a little bit less because, the interior units have the connection to the second floor, that's been accounted.
Walk-in closets.
Yes.
Other questions? from the board? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to ask the applicant to step back so we can open the public portion. Questions or comments? Anyone that comes up, please give their name, spelling, and their address.
Within 200 feet.
Within 200 feet first. Thank you.
Please state your name, spell it, and then give your address, and then I'll swear you in.
Susan Hoffman, Hoffman, 408 Fourth Avenue.
You swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
I think this application will have a negative impact on the neighborhood for several reasons. It's a neighborhood of small to medium-sized homes. In that block, where this project is proposed. There are 2 Cape Cod style homes. There's 1 small 2-bedroom cottage. And there's also a 1900 farmhouse at the end of the block. I think the size, scale, and mass of the project don't complement the neighborhood. Secondly, the parking issue is a really big concern. I live right across the street. And we live in between 2 rental units. One is a 3-bedroom and one's a 4-bedroom. And there are never just 2 cars. Never. There's anywhere from 4 to 8 cars every weekend at each of those homes. So the thing that hasn't been mentioned here is that there is no off-street parking in front of this project. You can't park there. So the closest off-street parking would be on Columbia or across the street on 4th. And if you're familiar with Columbia, when the school's in session, that street gets all parked up. So when there's going to be more than 4 cars, 8 cars, at the units, there will be no place for those people to park close by. They'll have to go to Columbia or over to, Green Street. I also think that there's going to be a safety issue. The road curves pretty significantly, as you can see right there. And particularly the house that's all the way on the right will have a much shorter driveway, and it's going to be difficult to see pulling out of that driveway because the cars come down 4th very quickly, and there are a lot of them, and come the other way as well. So safety is really a concern. So I'm not really sure how to address the issues of, 2 sets of quads being built here. But if you look at other connected buildings like this on Broadway, up by the flower shop, they organize their parking before it gets into the complex. So there's one driveway, and the houses are sideways. They're perpendicular to the street as opposed to parallel. So they would drive in and pull into their driveway, and they have a way to back out. I don't know if that's a solution. It's not my purview to try to find a solution for this project. But maybe part of the answer is to limit the number of units, 2 houses, 3, but I don't think 4 is something that should go here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else within 200 feet of this project?
Evening. My name is Mark Hewitt. I live at 410 4th Avenue. That's a raise my hand.
Yes, you do. Give them your name and address. It's like, all right, sir, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely. My biggest concern, like I've heard before, is going to be the parking and the access onto that road. At that period, and that speed limit says 25, I'll bet you less than 20% of the cars go 25. I live at 410, and I cannot back out of my driveway. I have to swing around and go out another entrance because I cannot see down 4th Avenue to get out without having an accident. And believe me, that's at 6:30 in the morning to chase some fish. I will also tell you, across the street from this proposed building is a new refurbished home that is now a rental home. And during the summer, it has a circle driveway. And I've counted 4, 6, and 8 cars in there when that unit is fully occupied. That's going to be right across the street from 405. And it's just going to be, in my opinion, not if, it's when there's going to be an accident when you pull out under there. I have a pickup truck, and I cannot back out on that road. And if you look at that during, I'm going to say, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it's going to be even worse. And when you have supposedly, if I heard that correctly, 8 cars on 405 at 406, there's either 4, 6, or 8 cars during the summer. You do the math. You can't get out. So in my opinion, it's the driveway, it's the entrance, and there's a new home that's being remodeled at 4th in Columbia with Glenn Knight's old house. That is going to be there as well. And they're moving the entrance. He has 2 entrances to that property. One is on Columbia, which is being closed, and the other one is going to be on 4th, which is going to be right next to this proposed property. So those are my comments. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you. Anyone else within 200 feet of this project?
Hello, my name is Linda Barr, Barr. I live at 322 4th Avenue, which I believe is about 200 feet from this development.
Ma'am, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
From what I've heard tonight, I have many concerns, actually. Most of them are safety. And while the developer is saying this is not overdevelopment, it certainly seems to me to be overdevelopment of a space that really cannot accommodate the type of traffic that an occupancy that is needed to handle rentals or year-round occupancy safely. Now, I don't even know if these are condominiums. Is there room here for pools to be added after the homes? Are there any restrictions on renting these units, which I don't think we have in West Cape May? This is really a blind curve. When you come up 4th Avenue, and people do not obey the decreased speed signs, they never have. And there's a lot of traffic, foot traffic, bikes, as well as cars that travel very quickly on that county road. It's not safe to pull out, to back out, to even come out face forward from the driveway. In that enclosed area, it's very unsafe. And lastly, I just find it really odd that a developer will come in front of the planning board to present all of this work, knowing that the county is not going to approve it, to have to go back and redo this and come back again in front of the planning board and take up more time when this should have been presented in a way if they want this to be approved, which I can't really imagine putting these 4 homes in that area. But I just think it's a waste of time and energy to come before the planning board with something like this. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else within 200 feet of this application?
Good evening. My name is Bernadette Jordan. Our property, and my husband James Sutcliffe,
I'm sorry, ma'am, can you just spell your name for me?
Torne. My husband James Sutcliffe, Sutcliffe. We're the owners of the property directly across the street, 404 4th Avenue.
The gentleman's first name was?
James.
Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, good.
Our major concern is the parking and the safety. It's been brought up several times. There is a very dangerous curve there. Speed limit is not abided by. We have a tremendous amount of walkers and bikers going through that area. I understand what was presented with the parking and the apron with the turnaround, but I can guarantee you that apron for turnaround will not be used for that purpose. It'll be used for parking for the owners who have a third vehicle or guests that will be visiting those people. I also have concern about the same presentation that the planning has been presented to the commission, and hopefully they can resolve whatever issues there are. But I too think that the property is way oversized for the amount of structures that exist currently, as was presented by the previous person.
Jimmy and Bill were talking for how like to get to West Cape May. West Cape May is the problem. You know. And to take it a little, first off, I'm going to build a driveway in C-shaped driveway. Costs a lot of money. Did it for a reason. I couldn't pull out. It's a very sharp line, corner. You come down there. Now, there are a lot of people riding their golf carts and their bikes. Have you ever noticed on Sunset Boulevard, there's only one lane going out to west the point? Guess where they're going? Right down our main road. And the neighborhood I moved to has beautiful homes. I moved here to get away from the traffic, the crowd. The homes are beautiful. There's single homes here. They're nice homes. They're a nice piece of ground. And it's beautiful. I think the builder's a good builder. I think he's overzealous to come to this lot and put 4 in. I like to see him put 2 in. But to put that amount of people across the street, you forget the weekends, the holidays, whatever you like doing for there. I have renters on my side. And I invite one family, that's 4 cars. But guess what? They invite the grandma and grandfather. Time to done, you have 8 cars. I don't want it that way. It hurts me. But I told a big driveway in for a reason. Because this road is not, it's a very blind corner. Come around, you can't see the traffic coming. When they come at you 30 miles an hour, it's pretty hard. So I love West Cape May. I love the homes where they're set up. The builder, she built the homes he has. I think it's being overzealous. And I think that if you put 2 beautiful homes there, you better look forward. Because I don't want to see the neighborhood get rolled. I'm concerned with the amount of capacity it's going to have. I'm concerned with the sharp road. And we all forget taking that Sunset Boulevard out to the point. They're not going that way. It's too jammed up. They come right down our road, 4th Avenue. And there are no stop signs or anything straight ahead. So the people are great people here. We moved here to get away from the city influence. And I'm glad to see the single homes here, which are beautiful homes and good families. I don't think we should be overzealous about it. I think we're overzealous. And I do think the builder's good better. I'm not going to knock him with that because that's been on its own. But don't put 4 there. Please put 2 there. And the driveway, you're going to need a good driveway there because that's a very blind corner. And if you ever take a look at 4th Avenue, I'm amazed how many people come down the road anymore. And I thank you for the opportunity to be here, and it's great to be in West Cape May.
Thank you. Is there anyone else within 200 feet that would like to come forward? Okay. Is there anyone outside of 200 feet that would like to come forward, speak about this project? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to close the public portion and ask the applicant to step back forward.
So, Madam Chair, just to address a few of the concerns without, these things start to sound adversarial sometimes. I'm not trying to go there, but it seems like a lot of the complaints and issues, we understand the issue that we already discussed at length related to the turnarounds and the requirements that the county may impose upon us before we come back here finally. Completely understand that in order to be compliant with their requirements and stay compliant with yours. But to hold us accountable, we're subject to what appears to be the likes of third parties who just don't want to follow the traffic regulations, the speed regulations, is unfair, right? And that's what we just heard from pretty much everybody that just came up to talk about how this will negatively impact the neighborhood related to parking and existing traffic issues there. What we're going to propose, what we talked about, will provide or will adhere to those requirements to alleviate the safety concerns. In our opinion, and in the opinion of our engineer who indicated earlier, he believes this is a safe driveway ingress and egress map. It will be when we impose those two turnaround stops. When it comes to an idea of overdevelopment, we're fully compliant with every requirement of the R2 zoning district as it relates to development on the slide. And we're not even maxing out what we can try to max out. In a lot of those areas, we're well under the maximum on a lot of those things. So it's not a it just flat out is, we're not asking for a single variance or waiver related to this application at all. I can go on, but I think those were the two issues. We're fully cognizant of the issue related to driveway access. We've discussed it, as I've said at length. Asking for preliminary tonight will allow us to indicate on the plans turnaround area to be discussed, presented to the county for their approval, their hopeful approval, and then come back to you and ask for final approval based on that condition having been met. If we can do that, I think we've done everything we can to make this a safe and compliant site, which is why we're just asking for the preliminary approval tonight.
John, I think, one of the things that when you talk about the residential standards for parking, that there's two. Those residential standards don't allow for the fact that, you guys call them tenants. Obviously, it's not gonna be owner occupied. Somebody used the word tenant that was sitting there. So, those standards apply to when people are living at the home and there's two adults and children. I think those standards may be antiquated, especially in this area. But the concerns are legitimate because, if you're talking about tenants for these 4 units or whether they're owner occupied or not, got 3-bedroom units and there's going to be more folks there than can park there. So,
well, I think we're hypothetically talking in that sense, and respectfully, the standards are what they are.
Not to be adversarial, but
and that's why it's just sometimes comes to this. But the standards are. You have an ordinance that says here's the parking that's required. We're meeting it, and you're holding it against us. In sense,
complies with state standards.
but they're there.
I hear what you're saying about you're complying with all the standards, and I agree. That's what you're doing.
Right.
What you did is you came to a planning board meeting and showed us a plan that was incomplete. It was the first thing that I noticed when I looked at it. Okay? To me, giving you a preliminary approval is putting the cart before the horse. Go get the approval, then come back and we'll look at it. I still don't understand how you're gonna be able to do that one on that side. So to me, this is an incomplete application. And I'm not being adversarial, I'm telling you what I think about that. You can't say that is a complete application. It's not. And that's what you just did. You said we're not asking for any variance, we're not asking for anything, but that is not a complete application.
Respectfully, your board engineer told us it was, which is how we got here. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have been here. And I understand the issue. I'm not arguing that issue is not an issue. I believe it is. But we can't do anything with a preliminary approval until we come back here for final. So by granting us the preliminary, preserve the zoning and everything like that currently applies to this site. But it's not as if we can go out there and develop. If we're coming back to you with a plan that meets exactly what you're looking for there and having you sign off, we would not be able to do anything on the site until that happens. So that is why I think it's a good alternative than trying to come here and ask for final, which we understand we wouldn't be getting to if we continue to ask for it. But asking for preliminary at least gets us to the next step of making this comply to what the county is going to require, and then coming back to you and saying, this is the solution. This is the solution that they approved of. It still adheres to your requirements. Respect, please approve it. And if at that time it doesn't meet with what you want, you're not required to say yes, but you allow us to come back and present them to you. That's all we're asking to do.
Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Supervisor, I'm not really an engineer, and, you know, I try to look at these things right before the hearing, once they're being complete, I look at them really. That second unit there, on the right, it really does look like it's kind of squeezed up against the road. And you're trying to do a lot in a little area in a bad spot, but your rear yard setback is 20 feet required and 33 feet owed. And it just, in terms of parking, you know, the other property, it looks like you could fit 4 cars in that driveway. This other one, it looks like a townhouse up against the road. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So from an engineering and planning perspective, I think that is not your best thing. And the one thing my board can do in a by right subdivision is express concerns regarding ingress and egress and safety. So one thing they can do, and they're doing that, and like, that's kind of not a good spot.
And understood. We understand. He's having this discussion. Yeah.
There is a chance that our engineer missed that also, when he deemed this application complete, because obviously this is a requirement for the county. We can't, it's very hard for us to vote on something when it's incomplete. If it is incomplete, it doesn't actually show the turnarounds.
I mean,
Okay.
fair warning, the preliminary thing is my idea, no one from the board told me it was good.
No, I get it. But I understand. I hear the concerns. Just talk to the applicant. If it's possible, we understand what we need to do. Right? We've had a discussion. It's been helpful in that sense too. If we can table this to revise the plan as we discussed with the turnarounds, it may also impact where exactly those buildings are located. We need to shift them. We can do that if we can table it to come back to the next available meeting, present that to you, that asking for preliminary or final tonight. That's what we're doing.
Making more parking and eliminating backup parking can't be bad for the plan.
And if we can do that, we'll time. I'm no engineer, so hopefully we can do that. The more parking.
I can read a room.
I get it. I understand. So we would ask if the board's inclined to allow us, we'd like to table this, come back next month if possible, to present a revised plan to you for consideration, both preliminary and final.
Someone will have to make that motion, and it's within the board's discretion to vote on what's before them.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Well, one point of clarification, was we taken that to the county first.
So you're not required to do one way or the other, right? Typically, we get the municipal approval first before you start spending money, second approval, right, the county. I mean, the way that we typically do it is like come to you, ask for your approval, if I obtained it, while we're waiting for the resolution, I would make the application to the county, so we simultaneously then have final approvals at the same time. And if we go to the county first before coming to you, that would restrict our ability to come back here next month. We'd essentially be pushing this very far out, which I think contractually may completely.
So right now,
Fair warning to my board, if they go to the county and the county tells them what to do and you don't like it, they can come and say, but the county said that's what to do, and it's their road, so you're how many will be if the county goes.
At the end of the day, regardless of who decides on it first, I need both of you to say yes. There's no two ways about that, right? One puts conditions on the other.
Yes. So there's a request for adjournment, someone has. We'll vote on, we're gonna adjourn and then we'll decide then to.
To adjourn to a later date.
I'll second.
Barnes,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Fusco,
Yes.
Morgan. O'Neill. Richards,
Yes.
Sabo,
Yes.
Ray Flynn,
Yes.
Roselli.
Yes.
Clerk, what's the next available date?
The next available agenda is going to be December 2nd. And usually we can have work session. Next, no.
My experience, anything that requires a change of plans, you need at least 30 days. Because we have to get it 10 days ahead of time too, so. So December 2nd. So this matter is being adjourned at the applicant request and the approval of the board till December 2nd. This is your notice of that application. There will be no further published notice. So this application will be continued on December 2nd at the same time, 6:30 in this room. And there will be public comments again, based on revised plans, and that revised plans are required to be with the clerk for review 10 days before the hearing date, which I'm not doing math, but sometimes be careful, activities around the night numbers. Okay?
Thank you.
Got my paperwork.
Our next item is, our next application is Dot One LLC, Broadway and Sunset.
What's wrong with this? What's it? Go ahead. Oh, wait, Chair. Oh, no. Yeah, I can't see. Yeah, he's down. I'm good, the mayor.
Thank you.
Do you remember
Green means out. Step.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Anthony Monzo from Monzo Academy House representing the applicant, Dot One LLC. In light of the conflict that reduced the number of board members that can vote on this application to 6, given the fact that we require a use variance, which requires 5 affirmative votes, we would ask this to be rescheduled.
And just to put on the record, we make sure that the conflict with one of our members is has a contract to purchase a property that's within 200 feet of the project. Generally, if a board member owns a property within 200 feet of a project, it's like an automatic conflict, like you're out. It's one of the rules. It's not actually in the rules, but it's a rule with everyone abides. As a contract purchaser, I do that as the same as being the owner for purposes of that analysis. The applicant is filing for a variance that requires 5 out of 7 votes, which means they can have 2 people say no and still succeed. When there's only 6 people that the board has available to them, then if 2 people say no, they lose. So it's a very challenging issue for applicants. So we try to give applicants a full board, a full 7 voters. In this instance, we really know about the conflict till now. Usually we try to take care of that ahead of time. Mr. Monzo, fair warning, I think we only have without our, class with, two members, or whoever the ones that can't vote, we only have 7 on our best day. So, well, let me restate that. With that other person conflicted out, we only have 7. So we're gonna have to try to get everyone here for your next hearing for that to happen. So that application, I should be doing that, what we heard, that's December 2nd as well.
Did you say December?
Workshop in between.
What about, there's November?
There is an application on the agenda. It is also election day. We have an election here. So I was about.
Okay, okay, so it's election day and it's in this building.
No,
It's just election day.
it's election.
Oh, it's election day, so,
That was a conflict with the date that wasn't caught during the report.
okay, I would point out though so are we not having here, we're having here?
There's an application scheduled, but they may not be prepared just yet.
I'm just reminding everyone that our
That's
class 1 and 3 or class 1 and 2, which are, the mayor and the mayor's appointee can't vote on this application anyway. So,
understood.
okay. Mr. Mazza, it sounds like our next date is December 2nd, unless we use a,
Work session?
work session.
Correct. The next work session is scheduled for November 18th.
Yeah,
You got work to do.
We're in the middle of our master plan review, so our work sessions things actually happen.
the timing, can I just confirm with my mind here? One minute.
Sure, I understand.
Just to the board, we do have a work session.
Do we not be doing this in that November?
What's up?
This one.
So do we want to poll everybody to see who can make some of these dates? I know I probably have a conflict on November 18th.
It's a work session.
Yeah, but if you're planning to.
We actually, I anticipate in May, close, finished on master plan. Later this month.
The next work session for Mr. Plan is on October 21st.
October 21st.
People are feeling like they don't sit on the.
You can't have a, when we're having a meeting in March. Okay.
Don't do that. We're trying to work out some schedule issues. Mr. Mondo, this is what we have for you. Um, There is currently an application that's a substantial one that's scheduled for election day. We really can only do one application on election day. But that one sounds like it might not be ready to go on November 4th. So if that one isn't ready to go, we should know that within the next week or so, right? Okay, then you can have the 4th. If that one is going on the 4th, then we have to do you on the 2nd. Because we're coming up on the deadline for our master plan review, so we need our work sessions to kind of finalize that. So everyone's nervous about putting applications on our work session. So it'll probably be on the 4th, but there's some chance it'll get bumped to the 2nd of December.
Okay.
So factor that into your CPU there and tell us what you want to do.
We'll take that recommendation.
Okay.
Keep it as the 4th, and if it's, for some reason, we can't be heard on the 4th, it'll be the 2nd, and
Okay.
whoever's here can mark those dates and,
And one of the reasons why we're comfortable with the 4th is that the two, that our appointees can't vote on that one anyway, so if they're not here, it doesn't matter. Okay, so if they have to be somewhere or whatever, they're not getting jammed up. So this application will be heard on November 4th, if it's the only application. Otherwise, it'll be on December 2nd. So if you have an interest in this application, you should check the agenda for November 4th. Assume that it's on November 4th. I'm announcing that it is to be heard November 4th. And this is your only notice. There will not be another published or mailed notice. If you see that it's not on the agenda and it's adjourned on the 4th, check the agenda before you come, and then it will be heard on December 2nd. And this is your notice for that as well, because there will not be another published notice. So if you're interested in this application, pay attention on November 4th, and then at least be here on the 2nd if you see it's not heard on the 4th on the agenda. Okay? Everyone in the audience understand that? All right, sponsors, okay with you? We'll do our best to have a full complement for that. If we can't have a full complement, we'll try to let you know as soon as we are able.
I'll reach out to your officer.
Just to be clear to everyone out there, we're only missing one member tonight. The other member is the one with conflict, and our mayor and deputy mayor can't hear this application, so I had to step aside.
But we have mayor and deputy mayor, but we have 2 board members that have a conflict. Ryan Griffin and John Friskin.
What's the other conflict?
That's right, John. That's
Ryan Griffin's conflict is that he is the agent for the applicant's rental units.
Well,
This,
yes, he is the agent on,
He isn't here because he knew he had conflicts on both. We're only missing one member, correct?
Mr. Mulligan.
Mr. Mulligan.
on the rental units that are proposed or that are,
This,
is in current financial range with the applicant. Correct. He's out, okay. I even didn't know, forgot about that one.
Okay.
All right,
thank you.
all right, thank you, Mr. Munson.
Thank you.
any application materials for that and reissue it to you, unless you have notes or anything wrong, and we'd like to keep it and bring it back. We have some extra copies, but not so notes or everything. Thank you.
Sure. Which brings us to the floor, if there's anyone out there in public portion that would like to come up and speak about it, anything. Excuse me? Oh, it's first. Okay, seeing none, privilege to the floor for the board. Anyone have anything? Mr. Flynn? Yeah, we've met with, Canoni Associates this week, on a call to finalize a lot of everyone's input. And, they are going to have a document for us next week.
For the next work session,
Yeah, for the next work session.
October 21st. Yes.
Posted final draft.
It's very close. With a lot of everyone's suggestions and changes that were made along the way.
Motion to adjourn. Did anybody else have, I'm sorry, I was jumping out. Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, thank you, all in favor?
Okay.
That's fine, yeah.